Longhorn fans, Sooner Nation, welcome to episode 224 of the Bevo Podcast, the only podcast exclusively dedicated to covering the greatest rivalry in college football, the University of Oklahoma and the University of Texas. I'm here with my man, Kevin Miller. I am John Whitson. Kevin, it's opening day of baseball. The March Madness is in full swing, men's and women's. We're going to talk about it with Texas and Oklahoma for the women. TGL, the golf league, just ended up their championships last night. Tiger Woods was cited and looked pretty good. First swing out of the gate was a 275-yard 3-wood off the turf, which just was, for dudes my age watching Tiger hit balls, I could do it all day. There are so many good things happening in sports right now. Yet, I have been drawn to Jason Witten coaching videos in spring ball like a moth to a flame. I can't look away, Kevin. He looks magnificent coaching the tight end position at the University of Oklahoma. Hayden Hansen, Rocky Beers, they look so good under his tutelage. I think if there's any reason why Oklahoma is going to win a national championship next year, it's solely on the shoulders of Jason Witten. Do you agree with that take?
Like most of your takes, I vehemently disagree.
I don't know how you could. Are there videos that you have been watching from Texas spring ball that have you salivating over college football?
Yes, because we have Cam Coleman and Colin Simmons on our team.
Okay, are you just saying that, or are you actively watching videos of these two?
I've seen the videos, yeah.
That sounds awful. That literally sounds like the last thing I'd ever want to see. If I was being tortured by, I don't even know who tortures people anymore. Somebody's out there somewhere is torturing people. And if I was apprehended by those people and I was being tortured, I imagine that they would show me videos of Cam and Coleman and Colin Simmons in spring practice. That's what I would see, and it would break me, Kevin. I would give up whatever state secret I would give up just to not watch that crap.
I understand that. I do understand that. We talked about your tight end room last week, and it is a game changer for your football team. Last year, you had Kanik, who did the best he could given the fact that he had never really played the position. I thought he caught the ball well, showed his athleticism, but you couldn't run the ball at all. And a big part of that was because of the tight ends. With these guys, especially with Hansen, guy's got SEC experience. He's a massive dude. You'll run the ball better naturally just because of having more competent tight ends.
Look, I could break down this video in a lot of different ways, but you just said it there in terms of size. Jason Witten is a Hall of Fame NFL tight end. And a big dude at that. He is Hall of Fame, right? He's a Hall of Famer.
I don't think he's in the Hall of Fame. But he's a Hall of Fame caliber player.
Will he be in the Hall of Fame? Will he be in the Hall of Fame? What do you think?
Probably. I think
he's a really good tight end.
Yeah.
You know, my judgment for Hall of Fame players has always been one simple rule, and this goes across most sports that you can think of, is in any given year, were you the absolute best player at your position in a given year?
Yeah.
And I think if you can say yes, I think that makes you Hall of Fame worthy. Like for 1 year, you were the best. And I think there are years you could point to Jason Witten was the best tight end in the league.
Yeah, it's just when he was rocking, there were some other good guys that were rocking too.
Okay. Well, hey, that's fair.
Hey, look, I'm a Cowboys fan. I love Jason Witten.
Borderline Hall of Fame player.
Yes, okay? For sure. He is eligible for the Hall of Fame this year.
The physique, all of it, he's there. And I know these guys are in cleats. Fine, whatever. They're towering over him. They just look so big next to Jason Witten. And he's coaching them up. Stuff looks. Look, am I putting too much into a spring coaching video of Jason? Yes, Kevin. I 1,000%. And I love it. I'm here, dude. I can't wait. I can't wait for all of it. In Oklahoma news, Owen Heineke has filed suit officially against the NCAA. So he's taken it to the legal system after being denied by the NCAA a fifth or however many years of eligibility. It's an emergency hearing set for April 16th in Norman, Oklahoma. The judge is Thad Balkman. Spring game is set for April 18th, and the draft is for April 23rd to the 25th. I do not understand the legal system as to why a judge in Norman, Oklahoma gets to make this ruling. Seriously? I also understand that this same thing happened in Alabama with the G League player. It was an Alabama judge that was able to make the ruling, and then I guess it was able to be overturned outside of Alabama. So I don't know what this means legally, but here's the thing. Here's what's really interesting in terms of the timeline from a outsider looking in, Kevin. Just go with me, right? Is he's going to make a ruling. Judge Balkman's going to make a ruling. He's got to do it before the draft, right?
Yeah, I mean, he was at the combine, right? Didn't he participate in the NFL combine?
He was at the combine. He was at the pro day. I mean, but everything hinges on the draft is like the go, no go date. And so if he withdraws from the draft, he can't get drafted and still get eligibility, can he?
That's a good question. Because, I mean, it used to be once you hire an agent, you're no longer eligible for the draft. But now everybody has agents with NIL. So I don't know how that works now.
I don't know either. I mean, I'm looking at this timeline, and I guess it's an emergency hearing. Does that mean he makes an emergency ruling that day, the next day? The timeline to me is what's really fascinating in this story. We talked a little bit about linebacker in our last show, and look, we've got Kip Lewis. We feel really, really good about Kip Lewis. Obviously, he could be in his final year under Brent Venables, positioning himself to be one of the best linebackers in the SEC, if not the best.
Correct. He's an All-American candidate. He's an
All-American candidate, especially with Anthony Hill graduating out of Texas. We don't have to worry about that guy. So Kip Lewis he's in a really good spot to be the premier linebacker in the SEC. The next is Cole Sullivan out of Michigan. He's the Michigan transfer, 6'4", 230. With losing Heineke and Omosigo departing and McKenzie,
yeah. Uh-huh.
Kobe McKenzie departing. Sorry, I was thinking of his wife, Kinsey, whose last name is now Kinsey McKenzie. With those two guys departing, it's like you got Kip Lewis, Cole Sullivan, who didn't play a ton at Michigan, right? He played at Michigan, but he wasn't like a full-time, all-the-time player. Am I to understand that correctly?
I believe he was in a rotation.
He was a rotational player. He's rotational, though, right? Like, my point is,
a talented player, though.
He's going to be asked to play the bulk of the snaps alongside Kip Lewis because everybody else is Bo Jandrew, freshman, 6', 205. That body's not ready for the SEC. Jacob Curry, freshman, 6', 207. That body's not ready for the SEC. Now, LG Webster, 5'11", 212. Now, interestingly enough, Marcus James, I haven't heard a ton about him, 6'3", 235. Barrett Travis, 6', 215. Now, the other guy that was talked a lot about being in the rotation is potentially James Nesta, 6'3", 235. And then lastly, the freshman, Dane Bathurst, 6'4", 240, Kevin. Now, that dude might be physically ready to play, but there's no way he's ready for a Brent Venables defense, right?
Correct. Yeah, he's not going to let you on the field until you know what you're doing. I don't care how fast you are. No.
Not at the linebacker spot.
No, he's not going to have him out of position. So, no.
So, now James Nesta is your other guy. So, when I look at this, it's like all of a sudden Owen Heineke, not just for his production from last year, but for the production and depth, he could provide this year, this emergency hearing has my ears perked. I think all Sooner fans are laser focused in, because I think the numbers and where we're at from a linebacker room, I think it's fair to say he would be much utilized and much needed in the linebacker room at Oklahoma.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, this guy knows the system. Brent Venables clearly trusts him. I mean, he beat out talented athletes like Omasigo in the linebacker spot, right? It's probably a big reason why he transferred out. So, yeah, I mean, you want him back. And clearly, he's choosing he prefers to come back to Norman than entering the NFL draft. So, clearly, it's been known and it's been told to him that he is wanted and likely needed for this upcoming season.
I mean, the story continues. We talked about it last time, because I think the last episode we did, it was kind of this sense of resignation, like, okay, this is over.
Yeah, it's over. Yeah, you move on.
And my thought was, I think your thought was really similar. Like, look, if this was an evenly applied rule, I would understand it and we would move on, but it's just not. It's just such an unevenly applied rule. There's no precedent. There's no example or anything for which the NCAA goes off of to make these decisions. It's insane.
No, and they've done this historically with all sorts of decisions when it comes to punishment for schools for recruiting violations. There's just no precedent, just whatever they feel like doing at that moment.
Do you know if this emergency hearing decision, is that it for the season, or can the NCAA then appeal it? Like, what?
That is a good question. You would think once they go to the courts that they would just be fine with it.
You think so?
They don't want. I would think they don't want the litigation.
They don't want to be seen suing a student athlete back, right?
Correct.
Yeah, to me, it's the timeline. I find it interesting that the timeline was picked this close to the draft.
Yeah, it sounds like it was just kind of a late decision just to give it a go.
Dude, I hope he gets it. I really hope he gets it. In other news around eligibility, not necessarily specifically to OU in Texas, but really college football in general, which you and I, we've been in the midst of this pretty much the entirety of our podcast. The NIL era and the transfer era has fundamentally changed football. And you and I are at the top of the list saying, hey, we need some guardrails up. You are way more pro player than me. Yet at the same time, I recognize the need for NIL to exist. It only makes sense. And I don't know that in all ways it's been bad. I think in a lot of ways it's been probably pretty good. Senator Tommy Tuberville, former head ball coach at Texas Tech, and had significantly more success at Auburn, is a senator out of Alabama for the United States. And he has put out the Student Athlete Act of 2026, basically new legislation that he's hoping to push through Congress. It's very simple legislation. He wants to put 5 years for an athlete to play 5 years. Basically, you graduate high school, the clock starts, you have 5 years, but there's no red shirt. You can play 5 years. One transfer is allowed with no penalty. After that, an additional transfer includes a 1-year sit-out penalty. Where do you come in on this as a opening guardrail to the chaos that has seemingly been around college football for the last 3 or 4 years?
Okay, I get where they're coming from, and it makes sense in theory, but there's always going to be situations where, coaches are going to be bouncing around everything. So I get it. I just don't know if that thing is going to pass.
I appreciate the leadership and somebody actually trying to do something. I think it's fair to say that Tuberville's kind of in that old school coaching philosophy of what always worked. Yet at the same time, Kevin, if I was forced come to shove, if I had to, like if I'm a senator or a representative and I had to vote on this deal, I'm voting yes.
Are you?
I am voting yes because it's just that for me, it's not even so much the NIL. And I actually appreciate this not addressing NIL or putting any kind of caps on NIL or creating another salary cap, because that salary cap doesn't even seem to make sense now that it's out.
No.
Like, so I don't know about any of that. I like the fact that it's saying the transfer rule. Look, dude, pick a school. If it doesn't work out, the coach leaves, you want more playing time, whatever, you could transfer. Nothing's going to stop you. Transfer, get your NIL money. Don't, whatever that happens to be. Okay, now it's number 2. Okay, well, maybe you're the problem. I think of guys like Chandler Morris and others. And who was the guy that was quarterback at Kentucky last year? That dude, they've been at like 5 or 6 schools. Kevin, even you can agree, as player focused as you are, that is not a recipe for success.
The transfer portal has been the biggest issue with. It's the combination of NIL and the transfer portal. NIL's fine. It doesn't making money because it hasn't changed the intensity of the game, right? The players don't appear to care less about it or be playing less hard because they're getting paid. If anything, the games are as competitive and intense as they've ever been. But with the portal, guys just bouncing around. If a guy doesn't win a starting job after a year, a lot of times they're gone to the next school. And then, in a way, this can help protect them from themselves because guys hit the portal and they just never get out of the portal.
Yeah.
Right. We've seen how many players, I forget the numbers. I don't have them in front of me, but how many guys enter the portal?
It's usually thousands. Like low thousands, but thousands of players, 1,400, 1,500, 1,800, whatever the number is.
Yeah. They enter the portal and then you look around and maybe if you say there's 1,500 players that have entered, you look around and there's maybe 900 that are at new schools, and the rest of them are just floating out there, and they don't realize they've just ended their college careers. So that is one benefit to this thing, is it could help almost protect players from themselves.
Do you also think that it, by the nature of the rule, minimizes tampering?
Yeah, especially, if you know that player is already transferred, and it, forces the player just to really think long and hard about leaving. Is this situation going to be that much better for me that if I don't like it here and if I want to transfer again, I'm willing to sit out in a whole year? And the clock's ticking, right, on your career.
So it sounds like you see the merit. All right, now you're the senator from Texas, right? One of 2 senators from Texas. You're basically best friends with Ted Cruz. Are you voting? Yeah, I know. Dude, I've told you about Ted Cruz at an OU Texas game. That I saw him at an OU Texas game, right?
You did.
Let's tell this story again for the folks. Listen, okay. I had these amazing tickets, like amazing. I think we lost the game. I think it was 2015. It was 2015, the game that Baker Mayfield lost. If that makes the Texas fans feel better. I'm not picking on Texas fan when I tell this story. Y'all won the game. Baker Mayfield lost. We still made the college football playoff. Okay. I had these great seats. I've never had better seats. They were 50-yard line up under the awning there.
That's perfect.
On with the side that gets the shade by 2:30, right? So dude, it was so good. I think the weather was good that day. It was one of those. The loss wasn't that bad because the seats were so good.
Yeah.
I've had seats where it's just like the 34-3 was just awful, and then the seats just added. Okay. Anyway, down below me, Kevin, is Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz, Kevin, your best friend, your fellow senator from the state of Texas. And dude, he has got these nachos, right? And he's got his arms out. If you're not watching this on video, my arms are at a 90 degrees to my shoulders, okay? I am blocking out. He was blocking out on the block after a free throw, all right? And he's getting after these nachos, dude. And they're like chicken wings. His arms are like chicken wings, like flying out. He's hitting people in the head. It was the most disturbing sight I've ever seen, let alone from a sitting U.S. senator, that he's just getting after these nachos like you've never seen. It was insane.
Not surprising.
You don't have a comment on that?
No, but I'm not surprised. Yeah.
Kevin, sometimes I feel like I try to get you to go down a path and you just refuse to do it. And I think right now you have an opportunity to make fun of Ted Cruz, which nobody's going to blame you for, and yet you're not going to take the bait.
It's too easy, man. It's low-hanging fruit.
Listen, it was low-hanging fruit for Ted Cruz, where he's getting after those nachos. Like, Okay, anyway, so you and Ted Cruz are in, you're in Congress, and this is your vote. This is as simple as it is. There's nothing else attached to it. 5 years to play 5 years. 1 transfer allowed. Additional transfers, a 1-year penalty. Kids can still do whatever the heck they want. But rules are rules. Do you vote up or down on this bill?
If there's no other hidden language in there, then I would lean yes. Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Listen, as pro players you are, that really does say a lot, and I'm not joking. I mean, that really does say a lot. I think you're right, dude. I think that the guardrails it creates for the kids, the tampering minimizations that it creates, and I think it also creates probably better NIL reality, right? Because now when you're signing a kid up out of high school for NIL, it can be a little more secure in the fact that, hey, man, you're in this for 2 or 3 or 4 years, because which is a benefit, I think, to both parties.
Now, with that being said, if that were the case now, there's a lot of players on our team we probably wouldn't have. But, Yeah,
but there's also a lot of players that I probably would have.
Correct. A lot of guys who
Hollywood Smothers comes to mind. Would I still have Hollywood Smothers in an Oklahoma uniform? I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, there's a good chance of that.
Would y'all still have Parker Livingstone? I mean, look, dude, it's unnatural. If Tommy Tuberville wants to add anything to this bill, it's that OU players and Texas players shouldn't be able to transfer between those two schools.
Yeah.
And I'm excited. Hey, I watched videos of John Mateer throwing to Parker. Dude, Parker looks good. He's like number 3. He looks sleek. He looks fast. He looks tall. Yeah. He looks great. It's weird, Kevin.
He looks weird. Tall and fast because he is tall and fast.
But it's
6'3" and with speed. Mm-hmm.
But you'll acknowledge how weird it is. It's unsettling.
I have not seen him. I have not seen any kind of clip of him.
It looks good.
A uniform, an Oklahoma uniform, but I'm sure I'm going to feel some sort of way about it when I do see it.
I'm sure you're going to tell me he doesn't look Cam Coleman good, and that's fine. That's great. He had better stats than Cam Coleman last year. I'm sure you're going to tell me that. That's all right. He looks really good. It's unnatural, okay? Oklahoma and Texas, they shouldn't be allowed to transfer, man. It's weird. It's weird.
I agree.
So if Tommy wants to add that, if Tommy wants to say, look, your natural rival in whatever conference you are, BYU, Utah, Auburn, Alabama,
Ohio State, Michigan,
like if you're saying you can't transfer between those schools, fine. I can add that to the language.
Yeah.
Add that to the language. I think we get everybody in there.
Sign it.
Oh my gosh, Kevin. All right. Other notes from spring ball. Just it started today. We do have a spring game. There is no spring transfer portal. Speaking of the transfer portal, there is no spring transfer portal this year, Kevin. So the roster you see is the roster you have. Now, teams can still sign players out of the portal, but kids cannot enter the portal. Is that correct?
Yeah.
I'm sure we both like that, right? Because I like it.
Yeah, for sure. There's nothing worse than, a player deciding to leave at this point in the year.
But how often did that really happen, right?
Yeah, I mean, typically, if a guy left this part of the year, he was not part of the plans for this year. But, there could be tampering, right? If you go through spring practice and then you realize, oh, man, we're not as good as linebacker as we thought. Who's out there that we can maybe poach? You can do some tampering and get a kid to leave.
Yeah.
That's,
But remember,
at a place like Texas and a place like Oklahoma, you can make that happen.
Remember, though, this was the conversation from last year, right? The conversation we were having springtime last year was coaches scared of having spring games
because you want to get tampered.
Because of getting tampered. Yeah. And I got to tell you, we can review the tape, but I thought it was BS then. I think it's BS now. I find it I do find it silly that now we're all having spring games again because fanfare days or whatever didn't work out.
Well, really, I think it's because of that spring. There's no more.
I know. I'm sure you're right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I still think look, if you're Oklahoma or Texas, you cannot be afraid to show off talent.
Yeah. But I
You can't
guess,
be afraid
hey, I've got this third string linebacker here who, is going to be a star next year.
I've got Dane Bathurst at 6'4", 240. Do I really want to show him off? We can't be scared though. You can't be scared, but whatever. No spring transfer portal. Texas is 3 practices into spring. For some reason, Sark decided to have 2 practices, go on spring break, bring him back today. What do we got going on down on the 40 acres?
Well, first of all, we'll start on defense, trying to get this new scheme going with Will Muschamp and trying to see how he's going to use our players, seeing how he's going to use Colin Simmons. I really did like the way that PK used Colin Simmons. I'm curious to see what he runs. Does he run what Georgia runs? They play really suffocating defense, but it wasn't predicated on an edge rusher piling up the sacks. Even when they had guys like, Jalen Walker, as good as he was, a guy who went in the first round of the draft at edge, but only had 5.5 sacks his last year at Georgia, whereas Colin Simmons had 11 or 12 last year.
I was about to say Colin Simmons had 5.5 after the OU game.
Correct. So how is he going to unleash him and let him go, or is he going to play him in that scheme to where he's only rushing certain times? So that's what I'm curious to see, how he uses him. Also, how his coverages look. We talked about PK playing off coverage, playing more of a soft zone defense, which was a nice kind of bend but don't break unit. Sark wants this defense to be more aggressive. He wants to blitz more. He wants to be kind of set the tone on that side of the ball. So I'm trying to see how that's going to work out. That's really the biggest thing that I'm watching. And then the newcomers, the transfers, the Hollywood Smothers, the Raleigh Browns, and of course the Cam Coleman. I want to see how they fit in. Arch is not a participant in spring, had a minor foot procedure in the offseason. They're trying to work him back in slowly, but I don't expect to see much, if any, of Arch during the spring. But I just want to see how those new guys learn the system and just do they look explosive, in a Texas uniform, as much so as they did at their previous schools.
When you have this is like just a practical question, just like a day-to-day question down there. And Sark is the offensive coordinator, right?
For sure.
Is he actually installing offense in spring practice? Is he the coach that's installing the offense?
Yeah, I mean, they install the offense, in the meeting rooms. Him and AJ Milwee, he's kind of his right-hand man when it comes to the install. It's really those two, but Milwee is the one. When Sark's working with the whole team, it's a Milwee who's running the offense.
Wow. Okay. I just wonder if we're ever, we talk about it a lot, if we're ever going to get to the point where Sark makes any kind of changes in the hierarchy there, whether it's with the general manager that has real authority, or whether it's on the play calling side of things. I think Sark is still. He's holding fast, right? He's holding fast to total control.
Yeah. If anything, he kind of is trying to be more like what BV did, and BV went all in on the defense last year, and honestly, it worked for you guys. I wasn't sure if it was, but it did work.
So, do you think he's bringing in Muschamp? You think his bringing in Muschamp is for him to let go of even more of the defense than he had?
He used these words. He wanted Will Muschamp to be the head coach of the defense.
I don't know if that's ever worked really well. I don't know. I mean, I think back. They used to talk about. You remember back in the old days? Well, you might remember, but like with the Chicago Bears, that's what they thought that.
With Buddy Ryan.
Mike Ditka was the head coach. But they would call Buddy Ryan the head coach of the defense. Look, they did win a Super Bowl. They won a Super Bowl, so maybe it worked.
One of the best defenses ever.
Maybe that's it. But in terms of like those two getting along, I mean, dude, they were like fist fights on the sidelines. Like it was.
The Buddy Ryan.
That could just be Buddy Ryan, though.
But that's Buddy Ryan, though.
That could just be Buddy Ryan. I don't know.
That's Buddy Ryan.
That's weird to me. But again, if it ends up working, then it works. I guess it's kind of the same thing
we'll
you're
see.
talking about.
We'll see. It's a gamble, right? Because PK's units have been great. They've been really, really, really good.
I just think that that Brent Venables was not able to do that if they didn't hire Jim Nagy.
Now, I think Nagy helped with overseeing other parts of the program, right? But I'm talking about a lot, of course.
Program.
But I mean, just on the field, Brent Venables like, I'm going to call the defense.
Yes,
this is my defense.
Yes, but what I'm saying is Sark's delegating all of his authority on the defensive side of the ball, from a play calling, play management, it's installation, coaching, the whole deal. I get it. And Will Muschamp is probably as good a guy to do that too as anything. But he hasn't abdicated everything else. He hasn't delegated everything else. He's still head coach, play caller, general manager. He still wears all the hats.
Brandon Harris is technically the general manager, and he does a lot, apparently. Apparently, we've been underestimating his impact from what I've been reading as of late. So,
you think he's just less public facing than like a Jim Nagy is?
Correct. And Nagy came in with a lot of fanfare just because we knew who he was as the executor of the Senior Bowl.
Yeah,
we knew who he was, so that's why it was it was a splash. It was a splash hire. Brandon Harris, was a former quarterback and has kind of worked his way up the ranks within the Texas football office.
Yeah, I think you'd agree, though. You would be surprised if Brandon Harris had the same level of authority that Jim Nagy has. Right? Wouldn't you be surprised?
Yes, correct. Yeah.
I'm not saying he doesn't do a tremendous administrative job. I mean, Texas is not doing bad. That's not the argument. It just goes back to Sark have too much on his plate. But you're saying maybe not.
Correct.
Maybe things are starting to smooth out a little bit.
I think it's seeming like he actually has less on his plate now.
Will it affect his play calling in the red zone?
I certainly hope so.
We'll see. It'll be a lot easier when you got Cam Coleman to throw a fade to.
Yes, it will. Just like it was, we had A.D. Mitchell, and we could throw it up to him, and Cam Coleman is better at that than A.D. Mitchell was.
Yeah. Man, look, you and I haven't talked for a couple weeks. Spring ball in this conversation has me so excited. I love. It's going to sound weird, but I love that y'all got Cam Coleman. For Oklahoma fan, this is what we want. Is we want you to have what you think is going to be the piece that pushes you over the edge, and what we like to do is be the team that just completely shuts that down. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but we've had times where it has happened. It's awesome.
Correct. Yeah.
And it feels so good. So when you're talking about Cam Coleman and you're building him up, I love it. I love it. But the problem is we got to actually do it this year. And
Texas offense, it has a chance, right? The offensive line is looking at least competent, right? The way things have shaked out. I'm worried about the depth, but at least the starting five, I actually feel pretty good about it. Much better than I did at this time a year ago. I love our weapons. I love the running backs. I love the receivers. Tight end, we'll see, right? We have talent, of course, but, we don't have a JT Sanders or a Gunnar Helm to catch passes right now. Even the Jack Injuries, who I thought we really kind of misused last year. I don't think we got him the football enough. But everything with the offense last year was just kind of off with the lack of protection from the offensive line.
Okay. I want to tangent off of this because I think this is a good discussion point. We don't often do this. But you going through these offensive things makes me think, let's play a game. Okay. Oklahoma or Texas. I think I know what your answer is going to be. Quarterback.
Texas.
Offensive line. You're saying with Michael Fasusi. You're saying with Michael Fasusi, Ryan Foji, what we've got coming back, you're considering Texas in this one.
I am considering Texas just because Trevor Gooseby right now is better than all of those guys. He was first team All SEC last year.
Are you calling it a draw, or are you taking Texas?
I'm taking Texas, but just slightly, because you know how I feel about Fasusi. Like,
Running back?
I think he'll be second team All SEC this year.
Running back?
Texas, because of Raleek Brown and Smothers.
Tight end?
Oklahoma. I like Hansen.
Yeah. And wide receiver?
That's Texas. I don't know if there's anybody in the country I'm taking over. Only Ohio State. And that's only because of Jeremiah Smith. But we got Cam Coleman and Ryan Wingo and Emmett Mosley.
My argument for you,
receiver.
I think my argument for you is offensive line. I thought Oklahoma I thought we were pretty good last year on the offensive line. Better than expected. And when we finally went with a starting lineup that we liked with Foji in there, and I thought we got a lot more physical and held up really well. Despite having a non-existent tight end, I liked what our offensive line did, and so we're giving them another year now. So this isn't a transfer-laden offensive line like it has been the last 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, you got some continuity there.
We finally got some continuity. We finally got some dudes that we know their names, and we've seen them play, and they've been coached up by Beatonbow. I would challenge you on the offensive line. Running back, I am really interested to see I think you're right. But I'm really interested to see the new running backs coach, obviously, Dylan McCullough, and what he can do with the talent that's there. We know DeMarco Murray could recruit. The stars are in that backfield in terms of 4 or 5-star recruits, or they were, I guess, with Tatum, but high 4-star recruits. We got a lot of them still. So what can he do with that? What can he do with a run game? Can we run game plan better? And then what does the tight end do to the running backs? I don't think the gap at running back is as big as it would be if we had DeMarco Murray and Joe John Finley and no tight ends. Does that make sense? Like, I'm willing to give you the edge, but I think the gap might be closer. As far as quarterback goes, look, man, the back half of that year, I think the first half of the year we would have said John Mateer.
Yeah.
John Mateer looked like a better quarterback than Arch, and it wasn't really close, even through the Texas game and the Kentucky game that followed it. But it was the back half that has me, at least at this point, given the nod. I think that's probably about right.
Let's talk about your running back room real quick.
Sure.
I know, and the good thing about you guys having a new running backs coach is kind of gives everybody a clean slate, right? If he's a good coach, he's not going to care about anything that happened last year. And if it's going to be his choice on who plays. So you got Tory Blaylock, who looked pretty solid, right, as a true freshman. Showed flashes of some ability. And then I want to ask you, though, where do you think Xavier Robinson fits into this? He was kind of in and out. I know he had some injuries last year, had a big game against Ole Miss. What are you thinking with him?
Real quick, let me take you back to Tory Blaylock since you mentioned him first. So we've got last time we did this show, they did not have a roster out for spring. So the spring roster came out. And so all of these
got it up. I'm looking at it now.
And all these player sizes have been updated since last year. What they're actually measuring at, right? Tory Blaylock, 5'11", 206. Okay, I always thought of him as a small back.
Yeah.
Where does who compares for somebody that needs some comparison? Who does 5'11", 206? Who is a good back that reminds you of?
Ooh, I mean,
like what kind of back are we looking at?
At 5'11", 206, potentially you got a back who can do it all. You got a guy who can run inside the tackle and bounce it outside with some speed. That's a pretty good size for a running back.
And that's what I was wondering. Okay, that's kind of why I asked the question, right? Because I look at that 206 number. I have to think he's added weight since last year.
Absolutely.
I have, because he did not.
You'd be very disappointed if he didn't.
But I don't think he looked. It's hard with pads and all the yada yada yada. He didn't look 206 last year, right? You didn't think so, did you?
No. He looked smaller last year. He looked maybe 195.
And so you add 10, 15 pounds to his frame. If he can maintain the aggressiveness, you can't discount his aggressiveness. Like, he was a hard runner, pretty instinctive. What did he end up averaging last year? 5.9 yards a carry?
No. That's 5 yards of reception. He was 4 yards a carry.
See,
120 carries for 480 yards.
It's just not great, though. It's
Yeah,
not great.
True freshman running back was, behind a young offensive line with no tight end support.
I wonder if adding some weight to him and new coaching, if he takes that next step, because that was always the fight, right? For me as a fan and as a podcast host, the gripe against DeMarco Murray was year 1 to year 2. It just never materialized. There was never a jump.
Really didn't see the
nobody ever got
there.
Nobody ever got better.
Yeah.
And, I think of Taylor Tatum, right? He comes to mind also, all those guys, right? I mean, it's just like nothing ever materialized. And so that's what I want to see is, do we have a step up? And I'm wondering if that size does it. Now, you asked about Xavier Robinson. Let's just look at his size as a comparison. Let me find him.
I've got him right here. It's on the screen.
Okay, great. What do we see with him?
6 foot 238.
I love that, dude. And look, man, that's a good 1-2 punch. It still remains a good 1-2 punch. Here's what I like about our running backs is they don't turn the ball over, right?
Mm-hmm.
They seem to be pretty solid on turnovers. There's always this big talk about pass pro and all this. I guess they did fine. I don't remember big busts coming out of those two guys in terms of coverage busts.
Yeah.
Maybe it happened, but nothing that just stood out, right?
Yeah, so this guy can't be on the field on obvious passing downs.
Right. And they're tough, and they're going to now be in year 2 and 3 respectively. Torrey Blaylock and Xavier Robinson, 2 and 3 respectively.
Robinson, 83 carries for 421 yards with 5.1 yards a carry with 4 touchdowns, 15 receptions, 106 yards and a touchdown.
Look, I'm actually surprised at the 65-yard touchdown run. I don't know which game that was.
Was that the Ole Miss game?
Was it the Ole Miss game?
We had that big touchdown run.
It might have been Ole Miss.
Yeah, it says it here in this little breakdown here.
Because my argument was going to be, what I don't like about our running backs is their lack of home run ability.
If you get him in the open field, he can go. That 65-yard touchdown was against Ole Miss.
Well, that was a big-time touchdown. Now I remember it now. Now. And that was a big-time touchdown. And so I still...
And then you took him off the field.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Kevin. Look, you've seen it with Texas over the years. They just do stupid stuff. I'm going to say stuff. You know what I almost said.
Yeah,
they just do stupid stuff. Sorry, I got excited.
Now, real quick, what do you think Lloyd Avant fits in here? Transfer out of Colorado State. I don't know if you heard anything about him.
I haven't. I think go back to screen. Go back to screen where you were.
Okay.
Because go ahead.
417 yards rushing last year against at Colorado State.
He looks like the same guy. He looks like the same guy we already have.
Jonathan Hatton, that's who I'm really curious
about. That's Jonathan Hatton Jr. He's a true freshman, but Texas is big-time football, 6'1", 230.
Yeah, San Antonio kid.
Look, man, that's the guy I think that could be the Lloyd Avant guy does. I hope he changes my mind, but 4 yards a carry at Colorado State, and I'm expecting him to have 4.8 yards a carry at Oklahoma in the SEC and a 9-game SEC schedule. That just doesn't. Yeah. Those two things don't jive.
But this guy has. We'll be watching for him.
Where's Steele High School at?
Cibolo. It's in the Shirts area.
Okay.
Uh-huh. Was
that there when we were there?
No.
Okay.
But you remember Malcolm Brown, Texas running back?
Yes.
That's where he went. But he was like one of their first. He was their first big recruit from that high school.
Okay.
I think they probably opened in the mid 2000s.
Got it.
Yeah, because they had Clemens out there, and then they opened Steele, and I guess they're kind of rivals now.
To me, this is the guy. This is the prototype 6'1", 230. This is that Taylor Tatum guy from 2 years ago that we hope could hit. For me, I like Torrey Blaylock and Xavier Robinson. I don't know if I love them. You know what I mean? I don't know if I like them. I don't know if I like them.
You know, pay attention and see what you're hearing about him during the spring workouts, because he's a very intriguing player and he's got the size.
Was Texas in on him? Was Texas in on him at all?
Never really heard Texas in on Haddon. Matter of fact, because he had committed to A&M early, and then ended up flipping to OU from A&M.
Am I reading that right? The number 5 running back nationwide.
Yeah, by 24/7, ESPN, and Rivals.
That's not bad. That's what I'm saying about DeMarco Murray. Dude could recruit.
Yeah.
Dude could recruit. But what does he do with it? So I'm really curious, because you told me that Dalen McCullough, when he was at Notre Dame, with the dudes he was coaching, weren't those dudes coming out of high school.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, Jeremiah Love wasn't necessarily a 5-star recruit, you know?
Where's he going to go in the draft? Will he go first day?
Jeremiah Love?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I don't think he's getting out of the top 10.
You think he's going that high?
Yeah. He's awesome, man.
Well, no,
I know, and there's always a one. I mean, if Ashton Genty went that high last year, I like Love more than I like Genty coming out of Boise State.
That's fine. I thought we were still operating on running backs are overvalued, but
they are. But I think, you know, if you got one that's dynamic, you just take him, man. Like Bijan, they took him in top 10. Well, no regrets there, right? I mean, I know he's you know, he's a once a decade type of, you know, but you know, you take him, and he's got great size with home run speed. Right, we see Jeremiah Love with
he's a special
90 plus yards, touchdowns. So he's a 4-star recruit coming out, and the other running back too that they had was awesome, Jadarian Price. So yeah, I'm curious to see what he does with these talented young players there.
Yeah, I haven't seen video of him coaching yet. I need to get some video of him coaching to see if I'm excited about him as I am about Jason Witten. That's next on the list. Next on the list is to obsess over Dalen McCullough coaching videos.
Understood.
The only thing that would be better, and they probably don't do it in the spring, is the Oklahoma drill. I love that in the fall. Oh my God.
Yeah.
When the Oklahoma drill comes out on YouTube, it's like Christmas. It really is. It feels so good. Oh my God. Oh, now I'm thinking about the Oklahoma drill in fall. Or it's really in the summer, you know, it's like in August.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it's one of those drills where they probably shouldn't be doing it anymore. They probably only do it like 30 minutes for the entire fall practice, you know, but they know they have to do it because it's Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And they have to do it for YouTube, but probably they shouldn't be doing it, you know, with concussions and contact and all the stuff that goes through it. But I don't care. I would be disappointed if we didn't do it.
Yeah.
That seems like a Lincoln Riley thing. I bet Lincoln Riley didn't do the Oklahoma drill very much.
Probably not. But sometimes, you know, Tom Herman used to run it all the time, and you know.
Yeah, Tom Herman also measured the color of pee, so you're probably right. I don't know if we need to
correct. So it's like sometimes
where's Herman at? Where's Herman at these days?
That's a really good question.
What a weirdo. All right, Kevin, let's transition over to March Madness. We spent a lot of time talking about Oklahoma. Let's stick with let's go to Texas just for a bit. Texas men's basketball with an exciting 3 games in the NCAA tournament, coming out of a play-in game where they beat 11 seed. Remind me.
BYU.
Did you beat? No, BYU is who they beat in the 6 seed. Who'd you beat in the play-in game?
Well, you said okay in the playing game. North Carolina State.
Okay, NC State, BYU, and
Gonzaga.
I mean that's a run, man.
It's a
That's a run.
really good run for sure.
The BYU kid was pretty good.
He was awesome.
Kid's a pretty special player.
He is.
But they had nobody else. Like nobody else.
No.
And they had the one white guy on the bench. And I remember
the point guard, the transfer from Baylor, who was okay, but
so it was painful to watch. I was definitely cheering. And I know Joe Young, friend of the show, did not text me back after that game. I did not text him anything mean or anything. I just just a conciliatory like this sucks and nothing, crickets.
Yeah.
But then to go ahead and beat a Gonzaga, it's pretty impressive. It tells you it's interesting to me when you look at the coaches left in the bracket, right? Who you've got there, and those who you don't, but you still have Izzo, dude can coach. You got Rick Pitino, who's quickly being rediscovered as the darling of college basketball. I mean,
I love it. Yeah.
The fact that all of us are going to be cheering for him over Duke is so funny because he used to be the bad guy in college basketball.
You say all of us, and that like including yourself?
Dude, I told you I'm off the Duke train. Grayson Allen, and Coach Krzyzewski's behavior since he retired has completely pulled me off of the Duke train.
Well, I'm glad you're off. Took a long time. Yeah. But I'm glad.
Well, it took Grayson Allen and Coach Krzyzewski retiring and being a complete a-hole.
Yeah.
Honestly, it was the interview he did talking about Grant Hill. Like, what are you talking to Grant Hill about?
Yeah. His greatest player ever.
Actually, you really didn't win. Yes, they did win, Mike. Sorry to tell you, y'all got beat. And I know you don't want to hear it. And did you play Jordan all 40 minutes of the scrimmage? No, you didn't. But you still got beat.
But they beat the Dream Team.
You beat the Dream Team. And it's 20 years later, or no, 30 years later, however many years it is later.
Yeah.
And you're sitting there with Grant Hill on elders. Probably the reason I love, like I talk about Leitner and Bobby Hurley and all this. And don't get me started on the Hurley brothers affected by distaste for Duke. Don't even get me started on that. But Grant Hill, look, even Duke fans, even people that hate Duke love Grant Hill.
Correct.
Grant Hill's Grant Hill.
This guy love Grant Hill. Yes.
Yeah, we all love Grant Hill. And so when you're sitting there disrespecting Grant Hill on about his accomplishments, is just I cannot stand the arrogance.
I know. It was so weird, man. So
if you're wondering what I'm talking about, I don't know if it's HBO or Netflix, but there's a documentary out about when the college players beat the Dream Team in a scrimmage. It's told through the lens of Grant Hill. It's awesome. Got to check it out. Krzyzewski comes out looking like a complete a-hole. And I'm off the Duke train now. Anyway, so I will say this. I think Shire can coach. But I also think getting two Boozer brothers helps you look like a really good coach.
Not to mention having Cooper Flag and Con Knipple last year.
That's 100% right. You got Kelvin at Houston. And then you got Hurley, of course, at UConn and all that. So anyway, there's some good old school coaches, and I think
don't forget Calipari in Arkansas.
Of course, yep. How could I forget Calipari? And so you're seeing like a resurgence in the coach. It kind of, and maybe you always do. Maybe this is just my recency bias, but I'm specifically tuned into it, Kevin, because I watch what Sean Miller's done with Texas through 3 games. And what Porter Moser's done for 5 years.
Yeah.
Now, some will say that Sean Miller couldn't do anything when he was at Arizona, so we shouldn't give him all this credit. And I guess, whatever. But 3 wins at Texas when Porter Moser hasn't sniffed a tournament win in 5 years. Like, it is beyond frustrating. Beyond frustrating. And so, anyway, congratulations, Texas. You look pretty good. How do you think you're going to do against Purdue?
I don't know if we can beat Purdue, but I didn't think we could beat BYU. I mean, I like the matchup a little bit, and I knew Devonta would probably go for. I picked him to go for 40 after watching 5 minutes of the game. But I thought they had a really good game plan. You
Yeah,
go
let
ahead,
him.
you score as you want, and then
Yep.
we just shut down everybody else. And eventually, he'll miss a few shots.
Now, was the BYU game when your center started missing all the free throws in the second half?
Yes. They should have started intentionally fouling him much sooner than they did.
I do not know why they didn't, or what they used to call it when you do it to Shaq.
Yeah, hack a shot.
Hack Shaq. I do not know why they didn't hack a Shaq.
They should have fouled him way earlier.
That was weird to me. That was weird coaching.
Very weird.
I also thought the BYU coach had very weird hair. He kind of had like a bald thing going with like hair in the front. It was off-putting. That was interesting. And then on the Gonzaga game, I just thought y'all looked better than them. Like you just kind of looked better, which is crazy because this has not been a good year for Texas basketball.
No, it seemed like he was out on this team halfway through the season. And I was pretty much like, whatever, it's his first year. We've seen that he can coach even this year. So let's just let him get his guys in, and the future looks bright. But man, they made a great run. I'm really happy for them. And yeah, I mean, you're right. At this point, you're playing with house money, right? You see the line here. Purdue is 7.5-point favorite, which I think has gone up. I think it was 6.5 yesterday. But hey, you're out there, just go out and have fun. See what happens.
So here's what's fascinating: is Texas pulls off one more upset, and there's a really good chance Sean Miller's coaching against Arizona.
How about that, huh? For a story,
that's crazy. That would be a crazy matchup. I've got Arizona and Houston in my bracket final.
Okay, I don't remember where I had mine, but
I think I have Houston winning.
The whole tournament, or just the
whole tournament? I have Houston winning.
Okay,
against Arizona.
Coach Sampson.
Against Arizona, yeah.
Against Arizona. Okay, so who do you have in your Final Four in the Midwest underneath here? You see, I don't know if you can see it on the screen here. Michigan and Alabama, and the Sweet 16, Iowa State and Tennessee.
I had Duke and maybe Michigan. I'd have to look it up.
Okay.
I had Duke and maybe Michigan, I think. I went pretty chalk. I did not have Florida going far, though. I had Florida in the Elite Eight. So
okay. But, man, getting knocked out in the second round, didn't have that on my
did you watch that game?
I saw the last maybe 10 minutes or so.
Okay, I watched a lot of that game. And with every ensuing moment, and I'm sure a lot of people felt this way. I don't think this is an original take, but I just want to echo it. I hated Florida more and more and more every second I watched them play.
Is it the style? Is it?
No, it's the personalities. The coaches and the players were obnoxious.
Well, they have the coach's personality. That's for sure.
They do. And they reciprocate it. And my God, like that is, I could not stand it, Kevin. And I was pulling so hard for Iowa to win that game. And
man, I had Florida going all the way to the title game.
Well, sorry about you.
Yeah. Now I had Arkansas going to the Final Four.
Are you still there?
Yeah, because A-Cup is unbelievable. Dude, he's unreal.
He's the best player left in the bracket, right?
Yes.
He might have been the best player to start the bracket off. But he's definitely the best player
obviously
left.
Boozer's awesome, and he'll be a top pick. But
how about Nebraska versus Iowa? Do you imagine how insane that's going to be? Those two fan bases.
Where do you know where is the South regional?
Click on it and see if it'll tell us. Let's see if it'll tell us where it's at. I don't know. Is it not letting you?
I'm scrolling. It's not saying.
Dude, I wish that thing was in Indianapolis or something, just super close.
Oh, I know, but it's the South regional. Oh, it's in Houston.
It's
in Houston. But okay,
I
so
would
obviously
say
Nebraska played a Paycom
I would say an
here
easy
in Oklahoma
I would
City.
say an easy place. I would say an easy place to get flights to, but I don't know if anybody wants to be
Correct.
flying right now.
True. Okay, so the Nebraska and Vanderbilt get first round. They're here in Oklahoma City at the Paycom Center. I could not believe how many Nebraska fans were in the arena and how loud it was.
Well,
Did you watch any of it? Did you?
had they ever been to a March Madness game?
I have no idea. But man, they showed up just like they do for football games. And I didn't go downtown.
I heard they drank all our beer.
Wouldn't surprise me at all. I heard it was a sea of red in downtown Oklahoma City this past weekend. In that arena, I mean, I almost felt bad for Vanderbilt. You know, you expect to go into these tournament games, especially in the first round, the first two rounds, to be neutral sites. No. There was nothing neutral about the Paycom Center on Saturday night. That was absolutely
I saw it. I loved it.
And how about that kid for Vanderbilt with that half-court shot at the buzzer? Did you see that?
Yes.
That thing was halfway down and bounced out. We're looking at, I mean, that would have been better than Bryce Drew's moment that you were in the building for Valparaiso.
It reminded me a little bit
been a half-court shot.
It reminded me a little bit of Butler Duke. Now that happened in the final game of the bracket.
That was in the national.
But that ball was in and out.
Yeah, that was an insane off the glass.
It would have been the greatest shot of all time. It would have been the greatest basketball shot of all
Christian
time.
Leitner's shot in the Elite Eight.
Pass from Grant Hill. Great pass from Grant Hill. Texas. Let's stay with Texas. Texas girls going up against Kentucky on Saturday in Fort Worth. What a draw. What a draw for Texas with a chance to face Louisville or Michigan. Look, Texas has been rolling. I don't know what more we have to say about Vic Schaefer and his team. They're really good. Right
where they're supposed to be now. That what's been happening with the men's has been a surprise, a very pleasant surprise for me. But the women, this is what we expected, right? We expected them to roll right into this point where they are now.
Oklahoma girls face South Carolina again. Earlier in the season at home, beat them in overtime on Aaliyah Chavez having 5 3-pointers in overtime.
Yeah, she went nuclear.
OU is a 17.5-point dog to Don Staley's South Carolina. I don't know. Are you a lady Gamecock? I don't know what that is. Look, dude, here's the thing. The thing is, they know they can win because they've done it before. But I've said it all year. The top 4 or 5 teams in women's basketball are just on another level. Yeah. They're just on another level. South Carolina, despite having beat them, they're just on. Now, can Aaliyah Chavez and Verhulst get hot? Yes, sure. We can shoot our way into a win. But that's the only way we can do it because I love Reagan Beers. I think she's awesome. But she's going to have 3 fouls by halftime. And she will have set out, 7 or 8 minutes in the first half because she's going to get fouls. That's just what happens. And look, again, we're just going to have to outshoot them. But they're a really, really good team. I think it's a good spot for Oklahoma. I mean, it's a much better matchup than Texas. It's probably a better matchup than UConn. But, dude, South Carolina is going to, I guess, a little revenge factor. We'll see. I don't really know what that means, but maybe a little revenge factor. Maybe a little revenge factor. Other than the fact, though, they're really, really good.
I think that's good, right?
I think that's your bigger,
ready to go.
That's your bigger issue, right?
We're trying to win a national championship, and Oklahoma's in the way of that.
100%. And we
know how they're gonna look at it.
And we know what Aaliyah Chavez did to us last time, and are we going to let her do that to us this time?
Correct. I mean, but hey, you're in a good spot here. I thought Aaliyah Chavez played well. I know your biggest gripe with this team has been how much they turn the ball over.
They do turn it over,
and they turn it over a lot against Michigan State. But the thing is, you had 22 turnovers, but they had the same amount. They just kept turning it back over to you. South Carolina won't do that.
That's 100% right. And South Carolina's defense is better than Michigan State's defense. It's just we got to be smarter But it's all the players on the team. It's not just it's not like it's Aaliyah Chavez's turnovers. It's the whole team's turnovers. They all turn the ball over. But I like the team, man. I enjoy watching the team play. They're fun.
Yeah, It's a fun team to watch. The offense is explosive, right? You can score a lot of points.
Yeah.
And and you can win inside. It's funny because you have some possessions and you shoot up a lot of threes. And I'm just like, just give the ball to Reagan Beers. They just can't stop her. It's just like I guess we're the old guys running the football. Just run the ball. Just give the damn ball to man. Reagan. Yeah, she's the equivalent of running the football. Just throw it into her, man. They can't stop her.
They just bounce off of her, man. They bounce off her. She look, boy or girl, she's like when you see a big kid when they're 8, 9, 10, 11 years old.
Correct.
And you say, if he or she can just get a coach that can teach them to catch the ball, turn and put it up, you're going to have an animal. That's what they're talking about.
Yes.
That's what they're talking about.
And when you play football, you have that one kid who's just bigger and more athletic than everybody. And where's he playing running back? Give him the football.
Yeah. Just give him the ball.
Give him the ball. Yeah.
Look. When they settle down and go through her, that's when we pulled away from Michigan State. It wasn't on the perimeter.
Yeah.
And so, yes, my fear for Reagan Beers is foul trouble.
Yeah, because they're going to attack her defensively. They're going to run at her defensively.
They're going to come right
while she's on defense.
Yes. And so it's all right. Now we got to go to
real quick.
Yeah,
anybody beating UConn?
Oh, I think South Carolina and Texas can beat UConn. Who's the other number one seed? Who's the other number one seed? Who am I missing?
UCLA.
I haven't seen enough of UCLA. I've seen enough of Texas to know that they can play defense. And you know how much I hate your coach.
Yeah.
But y'all can play some defense. And look, dude, South Carolina, I don't like Don Staley either. It's funny. I hate the girls' coaches way worse than probably any of the guys' coaches, except for maybe the early
because
brothers.
Here's the thing. At least the women's coaches have some sort of personality that give us an opportunity to hate them.
That's correct.
Right? Because back in the day, you had your coaches with a personality. You had John Thompson, and you had Nolan Richardson, you had Coach K, you had Bobby Knight, Rick Pitino, all those guys who you can make real opinions on. Now everybody is you just have no.
Don't forget Bill. Did you say Billy Tubbs? Did I miss you saying?
I didn't say Billy Tubbs. Yeah, So you had
put him at the top of the list.
Dynamic personalities in college basketball. Now you see that more with the women's coaches than you do with most of the men's. But I'm glad Calipari's around. I'm glad Rick Pitino is back in this stage.
People like the men's Illinois coach too. What's his name?
Oh, I forget his name, but yeah.
He was at Oklahoma State for 1 year. Man, they were pissed when he left.
Yeah.
They were mad. Okay. You know that game, Kevin? Like one of these things is not like the others. One of these. We just got done talking about March Madness, Sweet 16, matchups, good things happening. Now we get to talk about Oklahoma men's basketball. Doesn't that sound fun? Doesn't that sound great?
Sounds wonderful.
Okay, so you did not know this. I'm catching you with some new information. Hopefully you haven't looked it up. So Oklahoma declined an NIT invite. I don't care. To me, the NIT is like a bowl game. I don't really care. I was very clear about this.
Not just a bowl game, too. It's like 5 bowl games of teams, or 4. Or whatever. Yeah,
I don't care.
You're on the Armed Forces Bowl.
Yeah, exactly. I just don't care. Like I can't. I do not care if my team plays in the NIT. They just. Oh, I really think we should see this team again. Why?
Why?
They're
what? That's how Texas was in the NIT.
Okay, so they turned down the NIT invite. I don't care. Only to find out that they accepted the college basketball crown invite. Okay, so they were in the crown, but do you know what the crown is about?
No idea. I've literally never heard of this until you mentioned it.
Okay, so they had it last year. Now they have it this year. It is an 8-team tournament in Vegas. Okay? I think they're taking way too long to get to this tournament.
So it hasn't started yet.
Correct. I think they're doing it like the same weekend as the Final Four, which I think is really stupid.
Interesting. Okay.
From what I could tell, somebody can correct me. I haven't put too much work into it. But they do have all their teams are with the exception of Creighton, and Creighton's pretty good. It's OU versus Colorado, Baylor versus Minnesota, Stanford versus WVU, Creighton versus Rutgers. So
Okay. All right.
at least some named teams.
Correct.
Not a lot of mid majors or a lot of whatever. But here's the key, Kevin. $300,000 in NIL money to the winner.
$300,000 to the roster to be split, dispersed, or
that's the question. I don't know. I don't know if the school gets the NIL money or if they're giving it straight to the players. I hope they're giving it straight to the players.
That'd be awesome.
And if they're giving it straight to the
you know how hard they're gonna play?
Let me see.
If that's the case, those guys are gonna play so hard.
Purse go straight to the players. I'm gonna just look it up here. Let's see. No.
Because if it's going to the school, it's like, so y'all can get the next great group of players once we're gone.
Yes, it's designed to go directly to the players in the form of NIL packages rather than to the school or athletic department. Champions receive a $300,000 NIL package split among the roster with additional payouts for runners-up and semifinalists. What do you think about that?
I think that's awesome.
I don't know why they're not doing it this weekend or during the week, like on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday leading up to the thing. To me, that
What's the schedule? Do you have it? You said it's 8 teams, right?
Yeah, April 1st, lasting until April 5th. So maybe that's a little bit, right? Is that a little bit into it?
April 1st.
When's April? What day is April 1st on? I should know that. It's my parents' anniversary.
Okay, so April is a Wednesday.
Okay, so it starts Wednesday. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm not offended. Starts Wednesday. Yeah. So how do you think about that? $300,000.
Hey, great for them. That's awesome.
So what do you got? You got 12 players. You're playing for $40,000.
Love it. That's great.
There ain't no problem with that.
Yeah,
I like it.
It's a great incentive, and you get to have a week or so in Vegas. It's great.
I don't see. I would take Texas playing. I would much prefer to play Purdue tomorrow night.
Yeah, be in the Sweet 16 in front of the whole country
and have 3 wins to my name. I would also prefer to have made a decision on a coach. The big issue with keeping Porter was that he hadn't had the resources, and they're going to give him the resources.
Uh-huh.
That's great. That's great. More resources, the better. Great. I don't know where all these resources come from, but whatever. Now, that better mean that he builds a roster where he wins every game by 15 or 20 points, because I don't care how much you put resources in. He sucks in late game situations.
Yeah.
So I don't even know what we're talking. That's always been my argument with Porter, is not that he's not a good guy, or not that he's not even a good coach or whatever. Like it's just the late minute situations. His record's terrible. So you're getting to the end of the game in a competitive situation, which means you have resources equal to or close to your opponent. But the one resource that we're seeing play out in the tournament as it is now, Sean Miller, Calipari, Rick Pitino, Tom Izzo, et al., Danny Hurley, who I hate, is coaching where you get paid, and he doesn't do it.
Yeah,
and look,
speaking of coaching, real quick, we'll come back to Oklahoma. But what the heck was that from Bill Self in Kansas the other day?
Kevin, what
was that?
What, the play he drew up?
The defense on that play. You give up a layup?
Oh, I don't know.
In a clutch moment? It's like they were just doing everything in their power to not foul.
Who? What?
Oh, it was so bad.
Okay, first of all, that was really bad. What was the play where the guy dribbled all the way down and then tried to pass it under the basket and they lost?
Oh,
Because I thought that was
yeah,
stupid too.
that was so bad.
I
Oh,
thought
that
that
was
was dumb
bad.
too.
I forget who that was. It the same game?
I don't know. I don't think. No, I don't think.
No, yeah, I forget which one, but yeah, he just went coast to coast and then
Was it
tried to
Florida?
like wrap
Was it
around.
Florida?
I think it was Florida, actually.
I mean, what a bat! It was just stupid.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
just
you
like, what
at
are
any
you
point in
doing?
time, you pull up for a shot. Like
Yeah,
you had,
floater.
you had multiple opportunities to pull up and take a shot. Like
Yeah.
just from about 25 feet in, you at any point you could have pulled up. I just thought that was
Correct.
stupid. But yes, no, you're right. That was bad. Now, did I hear he retired?
I didn't hear that.
Am
But
I?
at this point,
He's at the top of the list. He's at the top of the list here.
he
Bad
shot
info.
it down.
It's bad.
Yeah.
Bad info. Okay, that's fine. I bet that was some freaking Kansas fans ready for some retirement.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Look, whatever. He's a fine coach. That was terrible. That was a
Correct.
terrible defensive call. And then for Florida, that was a terrible offensive call. And I just, I don't know. It's like Oklahoma gets left out of the tournament. Their last team out. I'm totally bummed. I don't know if I'm going to watch a game. And then Thursday comes along and it's like, okay, I'm going to peek in, see what's going on. And then I'm hooked for 4 days. And I
It was
watched
awesome.
basketball.
It's been great.
It's been great. And I was just hooked and I couldn't turn away. I couldn't turn it off. I'm watching Texas. Dude, I haven't watched 5 minutes of your games unless it was against Oklahoma. I really haven't. I don't care about Texas basketball. And I'm watching every minute of Texas basketball. I mean, it's just like, just pissing me off and putting me in
It's
a
not
bad
like
mood.
we've got a Kevin Durant to where, Kevin, I don't know how much you watch, but to me, Kevin Durant was must-see TV. Like, I mean,
Oh, hey,
Carmelo was at Syracuse.
I'm glad you brought Kevin Durant up. Kevin, let's talk some NBA basketball. That's a perfect segue. You really asked for it, didn't you, Kevin? You really asked for it. This is the problem, is you set yourself up, and then when I say stuff, you don't understand where it's coming from. Look, dude, we have a bet that Houston's going to finish below the top 4 in the West. They're currently 6th. This is largely because Kevin Durant is the worst teammate in the history of professional basketball. Do you still feel confident that the worst teammate in the history of professional basketball can make a run to get his team into the top 4 in the Western Conference?
Yeah, of course.
God, you are out of your mind, dude. Would you
Why
agree it's the
came
worst?
back?
Would you agree that as a superstar, as a future Hall of Famer, as a league MVP, that he is the worst teammate to ever play in the NBA at that level? At that level. You'd agree with that?
No.
Dude, I don't know how you can't agree with that. It's the easiest statement to buy. It's the easiest statement to buy into.
No.
They wanted him out of Golden State so bad. They just said, go, bro, go. And oh, by the way, you're never winning anything again when you leave. Like these 2 years,
is that what they said?
Has he won anything since? Has he even been in the
Is that what they
playoffs?
said?
Has he even been in the playoffs? I don't even know if
Yeah.
he's made the playoffs.
Yes.
He hadn't done anything. He hadn't got past the first round.
You asked if he made the playoffs. The answer to the question is yes.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah. And the reason I asked it, it was rhetorical, but the reason I asked it is because he hadn't done anything, Kevin. Nothing. You know why? Because his teammates won't play for him. And it's being exhibited. Houston Rockets 2026, Exhibit A. Exhibit A. You told me they were going to be a top 3 team in the West.
I said they're going to be a top 4 team.
I said put the over under at 4.5. You took the over in the sense of the
Correct.
top half of the deal.
Uh-huh. Yes. Yes. And they're still.
I don't think
they
you.
can
I
still
just
get
don't
there.
think you. I just don't think you understand how NBA basketball works.
I don't.
Maybe another
26, 5-4, 50, 40, 90 at 37 years old. Come on, man.
Then why is your team 6th in the West? The West is not that strong this year.
No.
Well, the Thunder.
They don't have a. Well,
You've got
number
the
one
young-
is. I'll give you 2 reasons why.
You've got a young Spurs team that's playing really well. We love the Spurs. We got a young Spurs team that's playing really well. They are not world beaters yet. This is not some team
Correct.
that we expect to go to the finals and just win it. Denver, still really good. Golden State's not any good. Look, LA's ahead of them. LA's whatever. LA's LA's LA. They're going to do something stupid like they always do. No, Kevin. Come on. You thought they were. You got to admit that you thought they'd be better than this. Can you at least admit that?
Well, I did before Fred VanVleet and
Oh,
Steven Adams
here
were
we
lost.
go.
They don't
Here
have a
we
point
go.
guard.
Oh my God.
And you act like they're the Utah Jazz. They're a game back from fourth.
But they're in sixth, right? With 9 games to go. And you think there's a lot you still think there's a greater likelihood that they ascend to fourth than fall to seventh?
Yes. They're 4 games above 7.
Okay, so maybe they don't fall to seventh. Look, I feel
they're a game away from being fourth.
So good about this bet. I've never felt better in a bet before. I feel awful with every OU Texas bet we make for good reason. I haven't had a very good track record. I do not feel good when I make those bets. There will be false every time I make that bet. It's filled with a lot of false, hopeful bravado. Okay, this is actually real. Like, I really think that it's not going to happen. And I knew it 71 games ago, and I know it for sure here in about 9 games. Let's put it that way.
We'll see.
Oh my God.
They're a game back of fourth.
Your Thunder look good, right?
Yeah, they're looking pretty unbeatable. J-Dub's back. They stole Jerry McCain from Philly. I don't know what they were thinking, giving him away to the Thunder.
What is happening? How does Presti do it?
I don't know.
Does he have like naked pictures of like these other GMs?
Yeah.
Wives or moms or something? I mean, it is
That's
just
a really good question. Yeah. Because for Philly to give him up, he was gonna be rookie of the year last year before he had a knee injury. And then Philly, they're not even playing him hardly. And then he comes to the Thunder. So like he can't get on the court for Philly. And then he comes to the Thunder and instantly becomes a guy.
Kevin,
averaging 15 points.
And he's still on a rookie contract?
Yes, it's his second year in the league, John. He was a rookie last year. He was headed towards winning Rookie of the Year. He had a meniscus injury. He missed the rest of the season. He's working his way back into form. Philly's not hardly even playing him. The Thunder get him, and he's instantly averaging 15 points a game, shooting 43% from 3.
All I've heard is about this dude for the last 2 months. That's all we've heard about here.
And rightfully so. He's awesome.
And
but look out for my Spurs.
Real quick, one last thing on the Thunder. AJ Mitchell. Dude, he just reminds me of old school. He's an old school basketball player to me.
Correct.
He's you remember was it Raymond Felton? Probably plays a little like Raymond Felton. Raymond Felton's a little rounder maybe than AJ Mitchell.
Yeah, for sure.
But just that kind of style, like that, almost an old manish style. Like, I don't know, man. I like the way he plays ball. I really.
Yeah. He's like Clyde Drexler on the Rockets. Not the freakish athlete,
dude. I don't know
that he once was, but as far as driving to the basket, can hit the mid range.
I think of like Dennis Johnson, the Celtics.
Okay, yeah,
just solid, just a great basketball player. I mean, great might be a strong word.
The team is
really
super
good.
Deep. They're so deep, man, and there's so many different lineups now. And as much as I love the Spurs, and as happy as I am with their progress, I mean, I was hoping they can make the play-in tournament this year.
Oh, you should have had more hope than that. Wimby's good, man.
No. But get into the play-in tournament and then make it into the playoff series. But I didn't think they would be the number 2 seed. I mean, they're 54-18.
Yeah.
If not for the Thunder being so dominant, they'd probably be the number 1 seed. They're 3 games back. But 54-18, they're going to win 60 games this year. In all likelihood. I just never saw that coming. And them being second in the West. And they have no experience in the playoffs. The only players that have even played, Harrison Barnes a decade ago when he was with the Warriors.
Yeah.
And then De'Aaron Fox, I think, played 1 playoff series when he was with Sacramento. That's it. But they're so good, man.
Do you think we can see a Spurs Thunder Western Conference Finals, or do you think that inexperience they go up against Denver
that's where I think it
might be too much?
And the seeding is gonna dictate a lot of this, right? Because
because if they have to put because if the Lakers sneak into the third spot, they can beat the Lakers.
The Spurs can beat the Lakers, but it would be tough though because you got their experience is just off the charts just with Luka and LeBron alone, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they've seen it all. Even Luka's, he's only 27, but he's seen everything. He's been to the finals. He's been in the playoffs almost every year of his career. LeBron's been in the finals 9 times, so it's just going to depend on the matchup. Houston, no problem. They'll just brush Houston aside.
That's because Kevin Durant's the worst teammate in the history. Yeah, that makes sense.
No, Kevin Durant's awesome.
I see.
But but if they play the Clippers, they have to deal with Kawhi, who has just so much experience. He's awesome too, but team isn't great.
He's got yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's just, but there is a chance. Who's
the worst matchup for the Thunder? Who in the West are you?
The Spurs are.
It is the Spurs, right? Like all that stuff you said about the
Spurs,
Lakers.
Yeah, because
and
Denver was the matchup, but man, just lately, since Jokic came back from his injury, he just doesn't look like the same guy. Yeah, it was a knee injury, so
he'll figure it out for the playoffs, won't he?
You would, I hope so. Just as an NBA fan, Minnesota they're not a good matchup at all for the Thunder. The Thunder swept them last year. I think it'd be more of the same.
You're saying they're a they're a great matchup for the Thunder.
They're a great matchup
They do not match up well with the Thunder.
Not at all. Not at all. And they're 1-4 against the Spurs this year. Now, in that last game, they figured something out and they handled them pretty well in Oklahoma City. But that was their one and only win against the Spurs. So, and 3 of those games were kind of blowouts too. But, when it comes down to the playoffs, man, that experience factor, and the Thunder have it despite being as young as they are. The last 2 years, making the second round 2 years ago, the Spurs remind me of that team. The team that made the second round and lost to Dallas. And they were the number 1 seed that year, the Thunder were. They still lost in the second round. And nobody was really shocked by it, even though they were the number 1 seed. I think Dallas was like the 4th seed. Nobody was really shocked by it just because of the experience factor. So we'll see, man. I'm really excited for the playoffs.
What else? Anything else on the list, Kevin?
Man, that's really all I got.
Hey, listen, guys. Spring ball. Kevin and I will be back to recap spring practices. Maybe something before the spring game, maybe just after. We'll see how it goes. We'll see what news comes out. If we have breaking news on Owen Heineke, we'll probably be definitely around to share that. And if we get more news on that, we'll be there. Kevin, I love talking sports with you, man. You're the best. Have a great evening, great week. Boomer!
Okay.